Welcome to the 190th broadcast of the T-ROH show. It's your host, Keith. We have got a lot to cover tonight, folks, and you're going to really really like this show. There's a lot we have to cover, so here, let's get going. All right. This is a common council. This is a document that was found from 1937. Our legal department over in the ANU found it. It's a declaration of interdependence of the governments within the United States of America. They literally said this, by the way. This was when they set up your communist organization within the United States. And they actually tried to set it up within the United States of America. This is not a Scottish company. This is the actual country is what they tried to do. So the Committee of the National Assembly objection condemns to the in common council is what they called it. You can read it right here. You can read it over here at the Continental Free Press. Okay, it's continentalfreepress.news. This is one of our newspapers. Okay, so because it fails to mention people, thereby causing the people to become inhabitants of the states of the Union, to suffer the lack of political power, to seek remedy within the United States under a communist regime that was created in common council. The International Bar Association, after its creation, through its various bar associations within the United States, has blocked the inhabitants from being able to report crimes to the various grand juries across the country, the United States of America. The lack of fulfillment of the law has caused an oppression bubble that is beginning to burst. The corruption is at its core because of the rule that one attorney cannot bring charges against another, nor against any bar association, wherein is the source of the cause of the corruption. Chain of title documents, here's the IBA, International Bar Association. This was created after the American Bar. So they built it up and then connected it over to the International Bar Association, which is in the city of London. Here's the bar directories and lawyers finders. It says category organization based in city of London, the IBA is. That tells you exactly what's going on. Each bar member is without a social compact within the United States nor the United States of America, and therefore through association are subjects of the city of London without a valid oath or affirmation to any of the states. They're not valid at all. City of London is a foreign country. Now, the corruption is caused by an illegal monopoly of the judicial branch of each state within the states of the Union, wherein is the cause of any and all capital crimes. Now, the Constitution, this is what happens for people that want to know what happened to your country. The Constitution, laws of the state are a basis of public tranquility, the firmest support of political authority, and the security for the liberty of citizens. But this Constitution is in vain, a phantom, and best that laws are useless if they not be religiously observed. The nation ought then to watch very attentively in order to render them equally respected by this who govern and by the people destined to obey. To attack the Constitution of a state and to violate its laws is a capital crime against society. I didn't write this. This came out of the Law of Nations. Okay, so it's not I'm not saying it's a capital crime. The Law of Nations is, and anybody who's been watching the T-ROH show knows that everybody's subject to the Law of Nations here. If those guilty of it are invested with authority, they add to this crime of perfidious abuse of the power in which they are entrusted. The nation ought constantly to repress them with its utmost vigor and vigilance, as the importance of the case requires. It is very uncommon to see the laws and constitution of a state openly and boldly opposed. This is going on everywhere. It is against silent and gradual attacks that nation ought to be particularly on its guard, which has been going on for a very long time, most of our lifetimes. But they're just openly doing it now. Okay, so that shows you right there that the lawyers are subject to these sections, subject to the IBA and or the City of London because they don't have a social compact to the United States. That's the reason why. Now, here's another one here. So this is a matter of Mark Johannes Yerman of Citrus County, Florida, and a public peace offer. So we're going to try to go for a peace offer here. We're going to try. I doubt they'll even listen. But what you're getting ready to hear tonight probably make you puke, because we've got it all connected. Now, in the matter of Mark Johannes Yerman of Citrus County, Florida, he has been caught in some crimes that go unnoticed. I'm just going to call him Mark. Owns and or is a part of the Friends of Citrus and Nature Coast Incorporated, Hospice of Citrus County, Inc. Let's go into this issue a little bit, and then we will tell you who Mark is, does for a living. We know for sure that Mark is in the hospice business. Mark also stole a lot of money through his hospice business by committing Medicare and Medicaid financial fraud through Friends of Citrus and the Nature Coast Incorporated, Hospice of Citrus County. Now, this is the link right here. Now, keep in mind, they only use this name. What they failed to do was use this name in that deal. Okay, and here it is right here, against Hospice of Citrus County. Make it look like it's a company, or let's say a county organization. See how they did that? But it's not, it's incorporated. And Mark is a part of it, if not owns it. Okay, I can show that later if you want. It's very easy to find. Here's the problem: no one ever knew Mark was ever involved in the theft, because his buddies covered that information up by never publishing that information in the newspaper nor in any reports. Why? Mark is a judge in Citrus County, Florida. Here's a picture of a little thief here. So if you want to look at that, you can. There he is. Hey, Marky Poo. Hey, little thief. All right. So you can go look this up. All right. Now he's a part of the Florida Bar Association. He is Mr. Law. Okay. He's I think he's 69 years old now. It's a very stupid man. He hides evidence from the court record. We've got proof of that beyond a shadow of a doubt, which is a felony, and does not think that crimes will catch up to him. We have evidence that to who is invested in Corvic common stock, which will take the whole judiciary system down. I'm going to show you that tonight. People would puke if they knew how their judicial system has been arbitrarily changed without their consent. It's sick, folks. It's sick. The reason why Mark Johannes Yerman is a very stupid man is because he has exposed the whole judiciary within the state of Florida by hiding evidence and placing an American national within the states of the Union of the United States of America into his detention center for 60 days, thereby trafficking in persons offshore. Shouldn't have got our attention, bonehead. The post office, or post offices in general, inherently are autonomous, sovereign, and do have arrest powers. Let me show you. You can see that one here in a minute. Okay. Now, they used Steve Bannon. They used the post office to arrest Steve Bannon. Now, this was a mess. This is the problem that the U.S. is having with their post office. Unlike the USPS, that is a subsidiary of the Universal Postal Union, which is a United Nations organization, and everybody that is arrested by the USPU can sue them for trafficking in persons. Because when the UPU or the USPS arrests you, they're trafficking you directly under the New World Order. So we told Steve Bannon you are free to sue the USPS at any time and free to go. Why? Because we're the General Post Office. The original General Post Office is 1775. And we left the UPU. The General Post Office has first in time, first in right status, and just so happens to have a permanent population at the moment. The Postal Department of the United States never succeeded the original General Post Office of the United States of America. Why? Because George Washington kicked out Ebenezer Hazard. He didn't have a right to do that because the United States never seceded anything from the original Confederacy, the original Federal Republic, which is what it was. Okay, so here we go. What happened was that Ebenezer Hazard died without a successor. Well, lo and behold, I just happened to succeed that office. He died in, I think it was 1816, 1817, in that area. See, George Washington, he was trying to tell George Washington, hey, I need to be the postmaster general here. You need to secede, or actually have the general post office come into your new constitution crap and everything. And George Washington said no. So Ebenezer Hazard said, okay, if you want to do that, you bonehead, go right ahead. Now you just split off, and now you don't secede anything. You didn't replace anything, so have it your way. That was revenge. You want to sit and do something stupid like that? Go right ahead there, Mr. George. And he did. It broke off the into two different timelines. So the General Post, the USPS, which was a corporation later, the Postal Department was what it started as, never had the authority of the country. And they've been operating like that for 240 years. Still didn't change anything, no matter how long they're operating like that. You still go back to the beginning, and you still have first in time, first in right. And guess what? Yes, we do have arrest powers. So what we're doing right now is we're inviting people to be investigators within the Postal Police Department, this hours of the General Post Office. So that, and we're also extending General Post Office arrest powers to those investigators, and for American nationals and residents with the government of the United States, or with the states of the Union. None of Anna's crowd. She's not doing anything right. But and you don't get a nationality with her. It just doesn't work. So we're trying to do that to expand the arrest powers of the people, so that they can stave off these lawyers. Lawyers are the ones that are causing your problem, your communism problem, and everything else. So according to Mark, he can do whatever he wants, even though he's not even a part of the state of Florida, and is in fact a subject of the City of London. We can prove that beyond a shadow of a doubt, no problem. With his overzealous allegiance to the Florida State Bar, and the reason why he's overzealous allegiance is because they got him by the short hairs on that theft deal, and they hid him. They hid him from that deal, but didn't hide him from us, so we can still try him. Wherein the state of Florida Supreme Court committed a capital crime against the Constitution of the state of Florida by allowing the bar to take over the Judicial Department, call it an official arm. These treasonous sons of bitches. And change its name to judiciary without the Constitutional Convention or popular vote that blinds Mark from reality. Since the General Post Office does possess arrest powers beyond imagination, and Mark has not been tried for stealing, that crime has no statute of limitations, and Mark can be tried for his crimes. $3 million they had to settle with. Peace offer for reconciliation resolution to this debacle created by many parties. The General Post Office of the Government of the United States of America receives access to the system, thereby allowing it to place its permanent population into its part of the system, so the locals know that those people are foreign to the City of London and hands off. The Continental Dollar is widely accepted. The American nationals and residents are able to use public highways at their leisure, and not fleeced by local police and courts, and the government of the United States of America will pay its part for the maintenance of the public highways. Idiot-proof the judges and prosecutors by teaching them the law of nations. Otherwise, this government keeps fighting for its equal rights. We're not fighting for superior rights of anybody. We're fighting for equal rights. We just want equal rights. Lawyers are not the only ones, which I don't believe they ever had the authority to try anybody. They're a freaking, association. They're a club. But if they want to claim that they can try somebody, whatever, just don't try us, because we don't recognize that authority. They don't have it. Okay? Now, nobody voted them in to do that. Show me one vote where the American Bar Association was allowed, or the state bars were allowed to monopolize the judicial branch. Just show me one vote of a person that said that is okay. That wasn't a part of the deal. All right, so trials will continue because not one has acknowledged the hint that when the City of London places one of our people on trial and attempts to subject them to foreign laws, the government of the United States of America places people like Bill Gates, Fauci, and the Rothschilds on trial, and the Rockefellers that are becoming soon, uh, and the Commander-in-Chief of the military of the United States for war crimes and crimes against humanity, etc. So the offer is very simple. You leave us alone, we leave you alone. So I'm wondering if they can get this concept, because I really don't think they can. They're not that bright. Okay, they think, well, see, the military protects the judges. That's the whole deal. They protect all the judicial branches, meaning the military specifically protects the lawyers. That's treason, by the way, because they're subject to the City of London. So don't tell me that there's autonomy between the U.S. and the City of London and Vatican. They're all in bed together. There's no autonomy between them. All right? You move on with your New World Order, because we could care less what you want to do. Go do your thing, whatever. Anybody who's stupid enough to follow you, they will. We move on with our independence and country, and we all have balance. Otherwise, your efforts towards full domination will never happen. You know why? Because, folks, I just want to give you an idea. These people they're not after actually Earth. They're after heaven. They're fighting heaven. They're not fighting Earth. That's why they cut God out of their Pledge of Allegiance. They just took him out. They just go from right. They skip that and go right to indivisible. Go check it out. It's on Twitter. So they went and started that. They cut him out, and they're moving on. Their fight is against him. It has nothing to do with us. So what we're going to do is we're going to go on with our way. Okay, we're going to follow the Most High, and that's it. There's no arguments about it. There's no discussion about it. That's what has happened and was going to continue to happen. So if you get all, butt hurt over that, or you feel like somebody's slapping you in the face, you're right. Somebody is slapping you in the face. We don't want it. Pop, pop, pop. Go away. Pop, pop, pop. We have nothing to do with it. Pop, pop, pop. That's pop, pop, pop means I'm slapping you in the face. In case you didn't get that in your head there, Mr. Lawyer. So we don't recognize you have zero judicial authority whatsoever. That's why if you had judicial authority, you would not have had to change the name to judiciary. That's why I know you're a fake and a fraud. There was no way or no reason why you would have had to change that name out of the state constitutions if you literally had the authority to do what you're doing. What you had to do was create your own little, what you call a judiciary, to make it appear as if you were part or dealing with law, or you had the authority to do what you're doing. And then you tried to blow it off or tried to sell it as, oh, we're professionals. Okay. Now, folks, let me show you what they're doing to you. All right. Just so you know. And if you want to, get your puke bags out, because this is sick stuff. Okay, now this is what they're doing to you. Now here's the story. We're starting in Florida because we got an issue with them anyways, and it's very easy to prove what we're talking about in Florida. On April 28, 1950, the Florida State Bar Association held its last meeting at the bar's annual convention in Daytona Beach. That same day, the Florida Bar held its first as the official arm of the Florida Supreme Court for regulating the legal profession. There you go. That's treason. Florida Supreme Court committed a what? Capital crime. Right now, everyone could hang them legally because they committed a capital crime. In accordance with the law of nations, they attacked the Supreme Court, or the Constitution of the state, with a private club. It went from the Florida State Bar Association to the Florida Bar. They just took out association. It's still a private club, no matter which way you look at it. Then they made it to where you had to be a part of the Florida Bar in order to become a judge, in order to hold one of those offices, which I think, honestly, I think that your average guy could do that job very well, much better than what these morons are doing, because these morons like to steal. They love to steal and get away with it. Okay. Now, I'm going to go here and I'm going to show you something. I'm going to keep resharing, just make sure you see this. Okay, here's the Citrus County Detention Facility. Now, I guess look at their customer base. Remember we told you that your birth certificates were pushed offshore, went into the U.S. Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico and various internal revenue trusts? Look at this, U.S. Virgin Islands. Now, if your customer base is Citrus County, U.S. Marshal Service, U.S. Virgin Islands, facility type, multi-level security, managed since 1980 or 1995, why would you need, what do you mean, Citrus County, only one little county, U.S. Marshals, and U.S. Virgin Islands? That's you. That's where your person is, in the U.S. Virgin Islands, until you do a resident declaration and we move you back on shore through the government of the United States of America, the General Post Office, and deliver your person right back into the States of the Union. Your person is no longer on the U.S. Virgin Islands. See what they do? They tell you that right there. It's right there. I didn't make this up. Now, who owns it? Core Civic. It's a private company that owns that. Okay. Now, Core Civic is just a basic company. I'm going to go ahead and share screens on that again. Make sure you can see it. Sometimes they don't switch for us. That's why I keep doing that. All right. Now, Core Civic announces change in corporate structure and new capital allocation strategy. Folks, private companies own your business, own your prisons. Nobody else. They just came in and moved in. Okay. There's no more state prisons. It's companies like this that own it. Okay. Now, let's go here. Now, let's say there's common stock because they're traded on the stock market. Core Civic is public company. I'm going to come down here. I'm going to show you some things. All right. There's the shares, 3 million. New positions, 40 holders, 34, All right. You don't really need to see that. BlackRock Incorporated. Here's one of the companies, Vanguard Group, State Street Corporation, Prudential Financial Incorporated, Renaissance Technologies, Bank of New York Mellon. Gee, that's a big surprise, huh? Charles Schwab. Okay. Northern Trust Corporation, former LLC, Geode, Capital Management LLC. This is the one that caught our eye. Northern Trust Corporation. Okay. Now, if anybody knows and they're doing something wrong, this was at 6/30/2020. We're about to slice their shares fairly thin because this is the Northern Trust Corporation. Okay. Now, here's the Northern Trust Corporation. Its incorporated date was 1971, and their registered agent is the Corporation Trust Company. Okay, Northern Trust Corporation is right here, right there. Now, what do they own? They own those companies of the Northern Trust Corporation: J.P. Morgan Chase and Company, Citigroup, America Express Company. See, if you wanted to do a foreclosure, you have to serve these guys. They're the ones that own it, Northern Trust Corporation. And this was their registered agent right here. If you were ever doing any kind of a service of process, because they own all these: American Express Company, Gold Shares, General Electric, Wells Fargo, United Health. By the way, Wells Fargo is invested in the prison system. Bank of American Corporation, not Bank of America. Northern Trust Corporation reported a holding of 111,873,089 shares within the market value. Okay, so that's that right there. That's what they own there. Now let's go over to the SEC info. Okay, now where's the connection between Mr. Yerman on the bench and the jail, Citrus Corp, that owns it. Where's that connection? Now, the Northern Trust Corporation is also a part of what? The American Bar Association. The Northern Trust Company is different from the Northern Trust Corporation. This was in 2010, was substituted for State Street Bank and Trust Company as trustee of the American Bar Association members' retirement trust. It's right here. And the American Bar Association members' pooled trust for retirement plans. Collectively, ABM members' trusts. From and after the date of the substitution, Northern Trust has exclusive discretion and control over the assets of the ABA members. So what do? Northern Trust Investments is an Illinois banking corporation, is wholly owned, and it's a owned subsidiary of the Northern Trust. The Northern Trust is an Illinois bank corporation, is a wholly owned subsidiary of what? The Northern Trust Corporation. And publicly traded financial holding company registered with the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System pursuant to the Federal Reserve Bank Holding Company Act of 1956. All right, folks, so what does all this mean? It means Mr. Judge is a member of the Florida Bar. Who was attached to the American Bar Association through subsidiary relationship, which means that his retirement trust fund is publicly or owns shares within Core Civic, which owns the prison that he puts people in. Everyone, lawyers and judges, everyone. You ever wonder why there's so many people in jail? Everyone that goes to jail makes their stocks go higher, and there you go. That's the retirement trust organization. So that's their retirement. That's how it's connected. Prosecutors, lawyers, anybody that's a part of the bar. And that's why they made it exclusive to them. So they took over the judicial branch from the people. You follow me? They took over that from there. And then they set up a whole privatized, Core Civic owned jail system. And then started moving in and doing brand new judicial, judicial buildings in the county. And how are they connected? All of them are connected. Every single one of them in the country are connected through the retirement fund, trust fund. And don't ever believe any one of them. It says, oh, I'm not involved in that retirement trust fund. Oh, yeah, you are. Every one of you are. We know you are, so don't start lying. Okay, so that means that everybody that's involved, all your friends and everybody that's sitting in jail right now, is doing nothing but feeding the retirement plan of everyone operating in that judiciary in the state within each county. That means no matter what you do, you go in there, you are going to be guilty. This is why they hide evidence. This is why they do everything that they do and all the corruption that they do. Because if you're not in jail, their stocks go down, and therefore their retirement is going down through the, gets a little bit less that day. So here it is. In connection with the designation of the Northern Trust Investments as trustee of the collective trust, Northern Trust Corporation has guaranteed to ABA retirement funds the obligation of Northern Trust Investment as trustee, and the collective trust declaration of trust, as amended, provides by the event of the issuance of entry and decree or order by an applicable state or federal bank, regulator, or court of competent jurisdiction declaring Northern Trust Investments bankrupt. Here's more. Northern Trust Investments is an Illinois banking corporation and a wholly owned subsidiary of Northern Trust, which is the Illinois Banking Corporation, a member of the Federal Reserve System, wholly owned subsidiary of Northern Trust Corporation. It's a publicly traded financial holding company registered with the Board of Governors, blah, 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 blah. Now you understand how the banks control the courts. This is how it's all done. Do you really think that if a bank is involved in any kind of any kind of crime or anything of that nature, that they're going to go after the bank. They're holding their retirement funds. That's how you control everybody. All those people sitting in jail for non-violent crimes, some administrative crap. Oh, he didn't have insurance. Oh my God, throw him in there. It's horrible. All those people, thousands upon thousands of people, where their lives have been ruined, so that Mr. Judge, like Mr. Yerman over there, can have his little retirement. So, since the General Post Office does have arrest authority, and everybody knows it, we're going to go ahead and if you're a little bit pissed off over this, why don't you get on over to the postalpolicedepartment.com, fill out the form. We'll talk to you on committee and get to know you a little bit, find out what your intentions are. And you can start putting some of the stuff like this together too. Start writing up reports. We'll send it over to our great jury, and we'll get some of these sacks on trial, unless they leave us alone. If they leave us alone and we get our spot there and everything else, they leave us alone, we'll leave them alone. We don't give a crap what they do. And if people want to come over to the country, the United States of America, they're welcome to do so, as long as you're not a part of Islam or some kind of Old Bay crap or anything like that, or you're not a commie. We protect good people, not that whatever the hell they're doing. Okay, and your assets will be protected there and all that, unless they want to do that. Otherwise, we're just going to keep on trying, you guys. It's just been a lot of fun. We love nailing lawyers, and we don't recognize your positions as judges and prosecutors anyways, because you're capital criminals according to the law of nations, and we just proved that here. So if you'd like to challenge that, I really wish you would. See, it operates as a financial holding company pursuant to the Graham-Leach-Bliley Act. Okay, who wrote that? Lawyers did. So don't sit there and say it's worth anything. And the regulations and interpretations of the boards of governors. See how they do that? It's a regulation and interpretations of the board of governors. It sounds really, really important. They just look like jackasses. Of the Federal Reserve. See? Northern Trust has a total risk-based capital of ratio, They've got all the, see, the risk capital of ratio, 14.2%, in excess of applicable regulatory minimum requirements. Oh, it's in excess of minimum requirements. Who set the requirements? You did. Okay. Now, who owns all that? That would be the people they stole it from. Okie dokie. So, guaranteed made by Northern Trust Corporation in favor of ABA retirement funds. Here it is right there. And then all of the state bars are a part of that right there. So, now you know the rest of the story. And I hope you had your barf bags, because those are some sick people, and that is one sick industry. It's really, really bad. I can't tell you, I can't express it without going off and start cussing. And some people have asked me if I could, cut the cussing down and fine. No, that's fine. I just wanted to explain to people before I ended this is the reason why I call people a piece of shit, like POS. Okay, the reason why I call them that, and I just want to tell you this. What I'm doing is more of a descriptive word than anything else. It's a way of expressing anger at them for what they've turned themselves into. Now, these guys didn't have to do what they're doing here. They didn't have to do that. I think they're POSs. I think they are. Now, the reason why is because they have accumulated a lot of power, and they could have used that power to help a lot of people, and they didn't. They used it to fill their own pockets. You see, folks, that's what's going on. They just wanted to fill their own pockets. You had all that power. And what did you do? You just created this big pile of crap. And you're no different than the big pile of crap. And that's why I call them POS. I'm not doing it to badger them. I mean it in such a way that all they had to do was say, okay, today I think I'm going to do something good. And today I think I'm going to make the world a better place with the power and blessings that have been given to me. Instead, see, first thing we do is automatically open up a position under investigator, and then add today. By the way, we did that in committee. We add today General Post Office Arrest Authority, even though you're not a general postmaster or part of the General Post Office. We just gave it to that title, and you're good to go. You have arrest authority there. So, and that's to help the people against this huge encroachment that is upon their liberties. Got to give you something, man. You can't just sit there and let people, you're there. Supposed to have that power to protect the weak. You don't necessarily have to be innocent, but it's to protect the weak from encroachment from the strong. That's the whole point. Power is there to protect the weak and the innocent, by the way. It's not that doesn't necessarily mean they're both the same, or they're at the same time. Some are weak and not innocent, and some are innocent and not weak. Either way, that's what it's there for. And these guys had the ability to do that. For a very long time, they had the ability to do it, and they didn't do it. That means they had no intentions of doing anything good for people in any way, shape, or form. What they did was they attacked the innocent, threw them in their jails so they could have a retirement. Isn't that sick? That's somebody that really just thinks nothing of you. It thinks you're nothing more than crap on their shoe. You understand? That is what makes you puke. What they have done to people, like CPS, they do that, throwing the husbands in jail, done all this other kind of stuff. That's not, and then use them as why am I paying them and then they pay, the other. It's a service that creates more money and stocks and bonds and stuff, more stocks into their private prisons, Cord Civic and Geo and whatever else they got. And there's some other privately owned ones, but that's what it's for. It has nothing to do with justice, folks. They could care less. They could care less who's guilty, who's not guilty. They don't care. That's one thing you're going to figure out once you've been around them for a long time. They could care less. And that's why everyone in there, when you walk into that courtroom, you get a sick feeling. I mean, sick feeling in your gut. And it's like you're getting ready to puke all over the place. It's like you're walking into the gates of hell. And that's what it feels like. It's not fear. It's just, oh my God, you are just disgusting people. Absolutely the most disgusting people I've ever met in my life. You're like dealing with trolls. You walk in, trolls with snot running out their nose. I mean, it's that bad. That's just how disgusting they are. And it's no spirit, no nothing. They're in there stealing every day. We're talking clerks, folks. We're talking everybody, not just lawyers. We're talking everybody has a retirement fund. They even had it for the public retirement funds for public workers and public employees. They have that, and those are being invested in these jails too. Sick. And do you have any idea? Just give you one example, and I'm gonna go ahead and end this. The 190th broadcast. There was a guy that I was talking to, and he had a team. He had the wherewithal to have that team. It was a team of lawyers that were in Atlanta for 4 weeks investigating cases. There were people sitting in jail in there for 11 years without charges and without anything. They just got lost in the system. Without charges, without a trial, didn't even see an arraignment, nothing. Just a little piece of paper that they were in there, and that was it. They had over 450 people released within 4 weeks. There was a team of lawyers that went in and did that. I guess they got the title so they can go in and do it. That's how bad it is. You don't have that many criminals in this country, folks. You do have a lot of innocent people sitting in jail. Millions are sitting in jail. More people in this country are sitting in jail than all the countries combined in the world, which is about 209 of them. All the countries combined in the world, you have more in this country. And that's because we are working and we have a military that's protecting the city of London and all the lawyers and all the judges. That sound like a war crime to you? Sounds like a war crime to me. We may want to enter this T-ROH show and as evidence, wouldn't you think? Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.